You're listening to Southern Miss Radio. It's time for News You Need. News You Need is a look at current events and how they affect the college community and beyond. And now here's the host of News You Need, Dr. Ed Simpson.
Hi, everyone, and welcome back. Another exciting, amazing week of News You Need. Today's a really special day. We're keeping it in the family today. We'll talk about that here in a little bit. So first, why are we here? What is this all about? This is the show where we talk about what's in the news and discuss those things going on with the best people in the whole world, which is our USM students. Today we have a very special group. And the reason we care is that you need to know, as a member of a community and society, the issues facing you. And the only way to know that is to read the news. And of course, we exercise all of that power and authority through things like voting, right? So maybe we'll even get to that a little bit today. So if you would, fellers, introduce yourselves. Tell us what year you're in, senior, junior, whatever, what your major is, and when you're graduating, perhaps.
Oh, you want me to start?
Yeah, go ahead.
My name is Lillian. I am the producer of this show.
Yes, you are.
I'm a senior communication studies major, and I am anticipating graduating this December.
Oh, excellent.
My name is Lauren Johnson. I'm a junior, and I'm a social work major.
And you are a past producer of this show.
Yeah, probably heard my voice
there
before.
You go. There you go. Excellent.
Guys, it is me. Not for real. It's Shania. I am the program director of the student media radio. And I am a MEA senior.
Yeah, that's very excellent. So we all know each other very well in here, so we're all associated with the show in one way or another. So that's very exciting. So let's get right into it, guys. What are our USM students talking about? What's news among our students? What do we care about this week?
So the last news I heard anything about was the incident that happened in the parking garage.
Yeah, I wondered,
yeah.
Are students still talking about that?
I don't know if they're still talking about it, but after like the actual news report came out, I was like, wow, USM campus.
I think it was just a big shock to everybody. Like,
Yeah.
everyone kept getting alerts, and
Like,
it was like,
what's
what's
going
going on?
And it was crazy because it was right after we finished the show that Friday. I was like, man, it would have been something to talk about. Okay.
Yeah, no, that's right. So the students were shocked about an incident involving a gun in the garage. And it does seem like things keep going back to that darn parking garage.
Yes.
Every time.
Every time.
Maybe hunted at this point.
Maybe,
Did he hold anyone
yeah.
hostage, or he just
No.
was okay?
No.
I don't
that
think
would've
he
been
held anyone
horrible.
hostage. I
It
really think
was-
he was held hostage, actually.
He was holding himself hostage, I
Yeah.
think.
It was a
So,
situation with self-harm incident. And like, if you go read the news report, then you'll see it. But
Yeah.
yeah, so this was he was older than our students. I think he was in his early 30s. Wanted on a fugitive warrant by police. So he goes into the parking garage, basically threatens to shoot himself if the cops keep going after him. So it took about 45 minutes or so, and then they
No.
About
talking
an
down.
hour.
It took about an hour,
Was
hour
it?
and a half.
Yeah, the
Was it
alerts
that
kept
long?
coming in.
Okay, yeah. So that's
Because
crazy.
Fizz was lighting up. I was scrolling on Fizz trying to figure out what's going on in the parking
Yeah.
garage.
So how do our students assess? How did the university administration do? Was it handled pretty well?
I would say so. It's just when you send out alerts like that,
yeah,
it sends the students into a
panic.
because what do you mean don't go into the parking garage?
Yeah, that is a pet peeve of mine on a lot of public information. Is so they're afraid of giving out too much information too quickly. So what they do is send out one sentence, kind of a cover your rear end sort of thing, and all it does is raise anxiety and chaos and panic and that sort of thing. But other than that, how'd they do?
I think they did.
Yeah, they
pretty
did
good.
pretty good.
I think they did
Other
pretty
than
good.
that,
It
it was
was,
alright.
like I said, it was right after the show, so I'm on my way through the THAD, and I got that alert. I was like, wait a minute. I was like, okay, well, I kind of live over here, so I kind of got to go over here. But the way they kind of like shut down the area, I think they did really good on that. Like the student safety were the main concern.
Yeah.
So like keeping everybody inside, even though everybody didn't stay inside. They were like, we can't make y'all stay inside, but
Right.
Stay away from
Yeah.
this area.
yeah,
Right.
And then like it was like even students in their cars in the parking garage,
and they could
That's
not
not
and
leave.
they couldn't leave. But they also the way the security was set up, they made sure that the students were safe,
Yeah.
because nobody ever said that they seen the guy. Now he was dodging between cars, I'm pretty sure, but nobody ever said that they seen the car. I mean, seen the guy, and nobody ever said shots were fired. So they did well with even though the students were in the area, they did well of still protecting them and making sure they were safe.
Yeah. Well, that's good to hear. That's good to hear. And they did get out the facts as quick, relatively soon. So that all worked out. Okay, what else are our students talking about? What else do
You
we?
mentioned like panic alerts. Actually, the student housing in the cottages, there was a fire last week,
What?
and they kept sending out alerts like evacuate, and they were making it sound so much worse than it was. And actually, what happened was like this hill had caught on fire, and it was like in the back of the cottages, kind of near the reserve. And they were like basically kind of panicking everybody out, because I was in class and there was a few people who were also in the same like living situation as me in the cottages, and everyone was like panicking and freaking out. And I don't think they should have done that, like evacuate. Like nothing was touched, like it was just smoke that was
Right,
coming, so they
right.
made it kind of sound very exaggerated.
Right. Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, so a lot of these decisions are made by authorities, so-called authorities, for liability reasons, right? So if anybody were to get hurt or suffer smoke inhalation or something like that, then they go into court and say, "Hey, well, we warned you to get out."
Yeah.
That kind of thing.
Yeah.
But that is a pet peeve of mine. Interesting. I had not heard about the fire. What else?
We just football just wrapped up their spring practice, and
How are we looking?
Got a lot of positive reviews for this upcoming football season.
Eh. So let's talk about that for a second. We have had a pretty dodgy football run here the last 4 or 5 years. So how are we really feeling about the team? I mean, I've actually heard nothing, but I don't follow sports.
Well, I guess I could take this one on.
Go
since
for
I'm-
it. Okay,
since
there you
I'm
go.
kind of
There you
in
go.
that area. I think that with the new coaching staff, I think we may have a better chance than we did last year. I think last year we did pretty good
Did
at
we?
the beginning.
Oh,
I mean, we
was
did
gonna
beat Alcorn. Let's be for real.
But that's Alcorn. That's
That
a
is
swag.
Alcorn. That is Alcorn. But I feel like a lot of the stuff that they were doing last year is being ironed out this year. So I'm not as close as I was last year with the football team, but I feel like there's definitely some things that's going to be better this upcoming season.
Okay.
Oh, let me
Don't
say
take my
this.
word for it now. Don't put no money on. Don't put no money
Let me
on
say
it.
this to all these sports people out here. I ain't knocking Alcorn, but that's Alcorn to a PWI. That's a swag to a PWI. Come on. Let's be real, guys. Okay, but anyway.
Yeah, I think everybody is yearning for a true winning season. So we'll see. We'll see. Yeah, we'll see. Interesting. So that's interesting. What else?
Oh, last Wednesday there was like a drill, or they didn't even say it was a drill, but it was this whole big siren on the campus saying like, "Take shelter now," and everybody was panicking. We're like, "What's
I
going
didn't
on?"
get that.
Boy, we
Where
have a
was
we have a
that?
we
It was
have a
last
panic
Wednesday. I
thing.
was in my social work class around like 3:30,
Oh,
and
see, I was in Macomb.
all of a sudden, like I'm in the Joseph Green, and it was like this humongous alert, and it was like echoing, and it was like, "Take
Well,
shelter now."
Speaking of panicking, we're gonna take a break. And,
Cut me off. I see how it is.
we'll pick up with some panic on the other side.
If you or your business is interested in sponsoring programming on WUSM, we'd love to talk to you about the benefits and opportunities. You can get recognition for your business as well as the appreciation of the WUSM audience. The audience realizes your support provides the programming they listen to daily. In addition, our sponsorship rates are very cost-effective and tax-deductible. To learn more, call 601-266-4287. When you or your business sponsors programming on WUSM, you are getting more than recognition for your product. You are also gaining the appreciation of our audience who understands that your sponsorship provides their favorite programming. And research shows that the audience is more likely to patronize your business, too. In addition, the cost of sponsoring programming on WUSM is tax deductible. To learn more, call 601-266-4287.
Okay, and we are back, and we're trying very hard not to panic here. That seems to be the theme of our show is panic. Okay, so anything else going on with our students?
Not to my knowledge.
We got an upcoming show On campus this Sunday.
Go for it.
Yeah.
What do you got? What's going on?
It's the premiere. It's
yeah.
with fraternity and sorority life. So if y'all don't have anything to do, go purchase your $15 tickets and
Oh,
go watch the
$15?
show.
I'm ready
Okay.
for the crawfish.
So where,
crawfish is
where
coming up
and
too.
when?
Okay.
Where,
Reed Green Coliseum this Sunday, 4 p.m.
4 p.m. Red, can you just show up and purchase tickets, or do you need to do
It's
that?
$20 at the door, $15 online.
And where do you go online to get them?
Ticketmaster.
USM MPHC is the link in their bio.
Gotcha.
They
Okay.
have crawfish. You know you want to go.
Yeah, I've tried crawfish my first year here in Hattiesburg.
Did you like it?
No,
Well,
no, it looks
That's
like
that.
it looks like a big cockroach. I don't like it.
Oh, there's a lot of events coming up on campus.
I'm not-
Crawfish Bowl, Southern Heat is coming up, sponsored by RHA. You know, I'm an RHA hall representative.
Okay, excellent. Well, I tell you, it's been a hugely busy news time. Major issues coming out. So let me throw you a couple headlines, guys, and tell me what you think. So the New York Times, parents of Michigan school shooter sentenced to 10 to 15 years in prison. So have you been following this? This is the young man who walked into his high school with a gun, shot and killed 4 of his classmates.
whoa.
And there was a relatively long record of him leaving messages on his social media, even texting his parents saying, "I'm disturbed, I need help," and the parents were kind of ignoring him. The school knew about these messages and apparently did not do much. So in a very rare case, in fact, this is the first time ever, parents were arrested and then convicted
Like
of
that shit happened,
failing
yeah.
to control their child.
Wow.
What do you think?
Question. Do
knew
we know
they-
how old he was?
He
Yeah.
was, I believe, 16.
I think this is very interesting because I remember maybe like 4 or 5 shows that you mentioned, like the start of this case, and to find out, like, you know, the parents were actually sentenced for this. It's kind of crazy. But again, if he's 16 years old and he's been sending messages telling his parents, like, look, something's wrong, then I guess it is what it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I want to see like how the messages were, like if they were that severe. Like
They were, the several of them introduced into evidence were, I am very disturbed. I feel like I'm going to kill people and I need help.
see, yeah, the parents
Yeah.
should have
Okay,
taken
well,
that.
let me push back a little bit, because that's what a lot of people are saying, is that, okay, these parents were out of the box. Yeah, you should go after them. But isn't this also part of the gun culture? The idea that you can get access to these kinds of guns so easily?
Yeah,
Isn't
I know. They
that
don't
one
do
of
any
the-
mental health checks, which is beyond me. Like anyone can buy a gun.
I mean, even with mental health checks, I mean, people are good at pretending these days. So,
I mean, yeah, that's
Man.
the thing. Like it could be a regular person. You could be friends with a person and not know that they have mental health issues until
something happens.
something drastic happens, or they just blow up on you and you don't understand why. Like
Right.
I think it's deeper than what.
So
we
it's
make
it's
it.
an interesting turn in the culture that instead of dealing with the guns, we want to deal with the parents.
I mean, at
I
his
mean-
young age, I feel like, yeah, you should deal with the parents, because why does a 16-year-old
Right.
have access to that type of gun?
And also, like, why did he not go to the school counselor? Like, you think his parents kind of were
But-
looking down on counselors and like said, like, oh, you don't need that, like, toughen it out. 'Cause
Didn't
he
you-
didn't.
He did go to the
stu-
school.
Oh, he did. Okay.
And they brought the parents in, and the parents said, "Well, yeah, well, we'll keep an eye on them."
So I wonder if this is the same person, because I watched a TikTok where a lady she worked at a school and she got a message from one of her students, like I guess in the chat. They were doing work alone, and he messaged her in the chat and said, I want to kill y'all. Like, I hate this school and I want to kill y'all. And so she brought him outside and was like, is everything okay? I got your message. What are you talking about? Trying to get an understanding. And he was like, I just feel like I need to kill people. And she was like, so do you want to kill me? Like, is there specific people in the school that you want to
clear
kill?
the
let
names.
me line them
Wait.
up. Let me go get them. Yeah.
Right, she was just trying to see what he was going to say. And he said, no, not you, just my classmates. And so then she brought the principal in, and the next day the student was allowed to return to the class. Why would you allow that student to return to the class after he has threatened to kill?
Well, there you go.
There's also a situation with a therapist who got sued because this person came in saying like, "Oh, I'm gonna kill like this girl," because she broke
didn't
up with him,
report it.
and then she didn't report it, and then he actually did. He stabbed her in
Yeah.
her dorm.
Yeah, so I mean, it's a little. Now I am a father, and so if you were to come to me and say you're in charge of the actions of your 16-year-old son, I would go, you're nuts. I mean, I have no idea what he's doing at any given moment. You know, there are rules and there are this and that and the other, but you're going to hold me criminally liable for what he does?
I mean, but if you don't, it's different if he's texting you and you're like, okay, dude, I don't know what this is about. Well, we have to get you help.
Yeah, and multiple
And
times.
not doing anything. And then also you not doing anything. That's the difference. Now, I can see if you have factual proof, like, I took him to the counselor, I took him to a therapist, and we put him in the psych
Okay.
ward. You know what I'm saying?
I think it's more on the
But-
basis of neglect. I
Yeah.
think they neglected their child.
It's interesting. Okay, so let me throw this one at you. Now, again, New York Times, although this was everywhere this morning, O.J. Simpson died.
Yes.
So now, you guys weren't alive when O.J.'s trial was held. Is O.J. part of your culture? O.J. is that? If
He's
I
in the
say
crime
O.J.
museum. That's all I know.
Do when I say O.J.,
I
do
know
you
exactly
guys
what you're
think
talking about.
anything other than orange juice? Do you think
No.
of?
No,
I think of O.J. Simpson.
Do you
Yeah.
really?
Because
Okay.
all I hear is O.J. did it. That's all I
Interesting.
hear.
Interesting. So you're still,
And the gloves, yeah.
Right.
yeah.
if it
O.J.
doesn't
did
fit,
it.
you must quit. So okay, so that's a
Yeah.
thing now. But is it? Are you sad? Is it a thing for our students that OJ died?
I mean, I'm not
No.
emotionally invested like that.
I didn't know him personally,
Like, I didn't know him
so-
personally, so I can't have any like.
It was shocking.
I mean, that's history.
But-
though.
You didn't know? Yeah,
You know?
actually, I don't think anyone. We kind of knew he had cancer, but he actually put out a social media post 6 weeks ago saying, "I'm fine," and apparently he wasn't. So
Yeah. I think
interesting.
that was shocking that O.J. died, but it wasn't prison.
Okay, well that's interesting. Well, OJ is responsible. Well, the OJ trial. Now, of course, you guys know the connection between OJ and their Kardashians.
Slightly.
Wasn't Kim advocating for him?
Well, I don't know about that, but the reason we have the Kardashians is that their father was one of OJ's lawyers.
Oh. Okay,
So
that makes sense.
during that 9-month televised trial, he was a prominent attorney, and they caught the attention of the networks, and so the Kardashians are the pioneers of so-called reality TV.
Interesting.
Very.
Really? You guys
Yeah.
didn't know that?
Yeah, I had no idea.
Fascinating. Okay, well, so there you go. Okay, so here again, New York Times headline. Biden to announce student debt relief for millions.
Student debt relief.
Student debt relief for millions. So now there was another headline this morning in higher ed, Inside Higher Ed, where they're estimating it'll affect 29 million students.
Hold on, where are they getting this money from?
Well, there you go.
Exactly.
There you go. So,
Exactly.
Aren't we already in billions of dollars in debt in this
oh,
country?
you are trillions of
Welcome to
dollars in debt.
America.
So how are we doing that?
What do you mean, how are we
gonna
doing
do
that?
America?
Give the relief to these students.
So your government, your federal government, is $1.7 trillion in debt every year. They spend more than 1.7 trillion. I'm
So
sorry.
where are we getting the money to pay off these students' debt?
They're getting it from you.
From
So we're not even getting the money that we said we're getting. We're spending more money out just to have to spend less money later. We're still spending the
Well,
same
okay.
amount.
So so they're getting it from it's obviously tax dollars. That's it. That's
So they're going
what
to up
the-
taxes?
Well, they're not upping taxes. Nobody's talking about that.
yeah, let's just talk about
But
it.
you know, when you borrow that kind of money every year, you know, apparently you're not too worried about taxes, right? But I'm okay. You guys are interesting. So you're not in favor of debt relief, student debt relief?
I'm not gonna say I'm not in favor, but if it's doing more harm than it is helping,
Leave it where it's at.
leave it where it is.
Yeah, it's not going to be all perfect. There's going to be something that's going to have to happen to make this.
It's
Oh
like
my God.
dangling a worm in front of a fish. Like, oh my goodness, it looks so good, but I got you. Like, something is always
Yeah,
there's a
it's
it's a
catch.
catch.
Oh my
So
goodness.
either food is gonna go up or gas is gonna go get higher. Like it's something they're gonna have to make this money up with something, or either the institutions are going to have to go up.
Right.
They're probably going to make water more expensive too, because everybody needs water.
Oh my
Yeah.
God.
Yeah.
You guys are freaking me out. So, okay. The average USM student graduates with around $26,500 or so, $26,500 in debt.
Wow.
So now that's lower than the national average, which is about $31,000 in debt for an undergraduate degree. So you're saying that should not be forgiven.
I'm not going to say it's
That
not.
you want everybody to pay their darn student debts because
I mean,
I'm not going to say it
Like I
should be
said, yeah.
forgiven, but at the same time, where is this money coming from? It would be one thing like, okay, so they have a thing where if you work in law enforcement so long, you a percentage of your debt is forgiven. Or if you work in the educational system for long, a percentage of your debt is forgiven. That makes sense because they're taking it from their 401k or whatever they have, like their Social Security. Like that makes sense. But it's still not. It's not computing in my brain where are we getting this extra money from.
And also, everybody should have a right to an education, and the fact that we have to pay thousands of dollars to get that is ridiculous.
I feel like if we want to like do masters and stuff, I feel like that's when like extra money should come in because I feel like undergraduate, you're just furthering your education after high school. I feel like that should be less than going to school for 6
Yeah, like we should look at
years.
Denmark.
So-
Denmark pays their people
No,
to go to college.
No, well, so there you go. So
and they're happy.
I
happy.
they are happy. They are happy.
country.
I know. Well, wow, you guys are really interesting to me. Okay, so there is no question that U.S. higher education is ridiculous in its financing. It's absolutely absurd in how we pay for higher education, which is to charge students. It's ridiculous. Part of it's the state. So 10 years ago, the state of Mississippi paid about 70% of the cost of keeping USM open. The rest of it came from students. 10 years later, that has completely reversed. 30% comes from the state and 70% comes from the students. Right? So doesn't it make sense that if that's how screwed up the system is, that shouldn't we forgive the debt of students?
I mean, if you put it like that, then sure. But
Right, but-
I'm saying,
But we're
like,
saying there's going to be a bad factor
Yeah.
to get to this good factor.
like we're graduating 20, 21, 22, maybe 23 with a undergraduate degree, and then you're going into life, and you still have. They didn't say they were going to forgive all of it either,
No, they're not all of it.
Yeah,
You're
they're not
right.
gonna forgive
You're right.
all of it.
Just some of it.
which I
That's
love.
what they're talking
a couple
about.
12,000. I'll take 12,000 off, but it's still going to be something later on in life that's going to catch us up.
Well, you guys are fascinating. Okay, we are going to take a break here, and we'll pick up with some other headlines.
Sponsorship comes from American Graphics. Located at 8 Commercial Warehouse Drive in Hattiesburg, American Graphics provides custom screen printing and embroidery. They can be reached by phone at 601-602-2277. And the website is goamericangraphics.com. American Graphics, printing at its finest.
What is dedication?
My daughter is biological and my son is adopted. I love them both so much. From the morning when you wake up to putting them to bed at night and every moment in between. I think a parent's job is to protect our children, but also prepare them for the world so they become good, kind human beings.
That's dedication. Find out more at fatherhood.gov. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
Okay, we're back, and I'll tell you, over the break we were talking about people actually taking responsibility for what they do. So when the banks get in trouble, the feds should not bail them out. If businesses get in trouble, they should not bail them out.
Because what are you doing with your funds or with the funds, period, to put you in jeopardy like that?
Well, okay, so what if, and this happened, you be right about, when were you born, Shania?
2001.
Wow, 2001. Okay, so about 2008, when you were in second grade.
I was very much
Second
seven.
grade.
Seven.
General Motors got in trouble, along with a lot of the other car makers, and the feds gave them a whole bunch of money to stay in business. And the reason was that if they went out of business, you would have put tens and tens of thousands of people out of work.
Oh, that sounds like when Obama was in office.
So what if they keep doing that?
Was
Get
that
in
when
trouble to
Obama
get
was in
money
office?
because they know they're going to be, saved
They're
by the
gonna get bailed
feds.
out.
Wow, you guys are much more conservative than I. Okay, so there you go. Okay, well there you go. You guys are surprising me, which is great. I love it when I'm surprised. Okay, let me throw you another headline here. This is from Inside Higher Education, one of my sources that I look at every morning. And here's the headline: Low grade, Arizona bill would let students allege political bias. So in other words, Shania, if you thought I were some arch conservative right-winger professor and I gave you a C because you didn't agree with my philosophy, you could appeal your grade and charge me with bias,
Oh, come on.
and I could lose my job.
Okay, now that's doing too much.
Yeah,
That's
that's
We're
like-
bringing politics into school,
I
like
mean,
grades.
but that's
They've been
because-
doing that for a long time.
But I think that's wrong because that's also like, let's talk about race. Okay, so that's like you're being my teacher,
Yeah.
me being black. You give me a D,
Okay.
and I go to the provost. Hey, he's racist because he gave me a D. That's wrong because did I deserve that D?
Probably.
Most likely I did.
Probably if you didn't do your work, most likely.
So why would I go?
Even
to
your
the
friends
D?
are saying, yeah, that D
I'm
was
just
probably a
saying.
gift.
And people are going to take advantage of that. Like,
They
if they
are.
have that power, they're going to use it. I mean, especially students. If they want a good grade and to bring their GPA up, of course.
Especially those that are like heavily involved on campus and they need a certain grade point average to
Yeah, who have a
maintain
influence.
status on campus.
Yeah.
It's gonna be crazy.
The
Well,
people
okay,
who
well,
made that think like everyone's good. No, everyone always has something they want.
So let's talk about the underlying issue here. The underlying issue here is that there are a lot of folks in the country, mainly on the right, who think your professors are liberal and are left wing, and that they are indoctrinating students. What's your experience?
I don't think so because
think
first
so.
of all, well, I'm not gonna say first of all as a student because a lot of people don't think on their own, and we are very heavily influenced, but that doesn't mean that it's because of the professor. Because we also still have social media, we also still have the internet. Like there's more factors than just, oh, it's your professor.
He doesn't like me, so he's gonna give me a feeling grade. I
Yeah.
think it's just mainly, from my experience personally, I'm gonna keep it short. It's just like I've never ran into a teacher where I was like, oh, okay, well, this teacher gave me a failing grade just because he or she doesn't like me. I've never ran into that, and I'm glad I haven't. But it's just like I know it's other people that take things the wrong way, and they automatically, okay, this teacher doesn't like me. I'm going to the dean. I'm gonna complain. So
See, in my major, they're more left. And I mean, it's obvious, but they don't penalize people for that. Like, they're going to listen to what you have to say. And, if they don't agree with it, they're not going to say, I don't agree with you. Like, they're just talking. Like, we always have discussions. It's kind of more like targeted towards women in my major, social work.
Oh, right. Okay.
So I kind of feel bad sometimes for the men in the class because we'll talk, and I don't know. I feel like they're kind of like, I should not be in this class, but
they don't want to say anything out of line.
exactly. But I mean, they've never been like targeted. Like they don't, make their opinion look less valid than anybody else's.
So even if it's obvious your professors are more liberal or fall on the left side, you feel it doesn't affect what goes on in the classroom.
I think if you're a professional, you should not allow it to affect what's in the classroom. And I think
yeah,
USM
teach
has
your
done a good
curriculum.
job.
Don't penalize anybody else for
Yeah.
their outside beliefs.
Okay, you guys are always interesting. All right, thanks, guys. Great show today. I love talking to Inside the Family here. So this has been a production of Southern Miss Student Media. Our producer is Lillian Scott. Hey, Lillian, here's there. Our engineer is Triderica Winters, and our videographer is Elena Petletsky. And we'll be back next week.
This has been News You Need with Dr. Ed Simpson. News You Need airs Friday afternoon at 12:30 on Southern Miss Radio.